Hello, and welcome to the Plourdé Institute. My name is Dr. David Plourdé. I'm a nutrition scientist and exercise scientist, and I'm the founder of the Plourdé Institute, a world leader in science-based weight loss. Today, I have a special guest and friend. His name is Anthony Halpin. Anthony, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
Pleasure. So, Anthony, you are the hero of the story. I met you in April of this year, and I'm just going to brag a little bit about you if you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
You graduated with your bachelor's degree from Texas A&M University. You also did a graduate degree, a Master's of Science in Finance.
That's correct.
You are the founding partner, or one of the founding partners, of Chicago Partners, which is an investment advisory firm here in Chicago, Illinois.
Correct.
You are married to the amazing lady, Simone Halpin.
Yeah, very amazing.
And you have 4 awesome kids. Maddie is 15 years old, Eli is 13, Asher is 10, and Liv is 5.
Yep, that's right.
And you're living your best life.
Yeah.
So you've been winning in so many ways, but there was one area in your life that was not the way that you wanted. And it had to do with your weight.
Right.
We did a half-day science-based weight loss assessment on April 2nd. We measured you in a device called the BOD Pod. It's the standard in science for differentiating the weight of all fat and lean tissue. On that day, we measured that you had 74 pounds of fat and you had 118 pounds of lean tissue. But you actually had more body fat in April of 2009. Your highest weight ever was 205.
Right.
At any rate, in 7 months, you lost over 51 pounds of fat. That means that you lost over 10 of these in 7 months. And that 51 pounds represented just under 70% of your body fat.
Yeah.
It's an incredible accomplishment. Not only that, you gained almost 9 pounds of muscle. It's incredible. I'd like to pull up your pictures if that's okay.
Absolutely.
Let's go ahead and look at the full front before and after pictures. 51 pounds less fat. What do you notice?
Yeah, the full front picture, I think, I always looked at myself as being somebody who was pretty fit with maybe just a gut.
Right.
But when you look at the full front picture, you see that there was opportunity to lose weight everywhere in the body.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's take a look at the upper body side shot.
Yeah.
What do you notice and what do you see?
Well, the upper body side shot, you can really just see how much my head has changed.
Right.
And the neck area and the shoulder area. That's an area that I never thought I needed to lose weight in. But when you see the pictures, you realize there's a lot there.
It's extraordinary, isn't it? Mm-hmm. How you've lost fat from every square inch of your body. Let's take a look at the rear view. What do you notice there?
Rear view is the first thing that goes to is the love handles.
Right.
You can see that that's where my fat like to gather.
Right.
And there's a significant difference in that area of my body.
Absolutely. And in this view, I see your neck circumference. It's very clear how much you've lost fat in your neck.
Yeah.
You talked about how you've lost fat in your head.
Yeah.
Your upper back on the left, we see roundedness and a complete lack of definition. On the right, we see the V shape forming and a completely different body composition.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and take a look at the face shot. The before and after face shot. What do you see?
Yeah, and this one I think really shows the difference in how much younger I look.
Right.
And you can really see that there was significant weight in the face that needed to be lost, and just how much has changed the entire definition of my face.
Absolutely, and I can say this, you're a handsome guy.
Yeah, thank you.
But your facial features are defined.
Right.
On the left, we see, not to be negative, but puffiness and roundedness. On the right, we see definition, your jawline. I mean, it's extraordinary.
Yeah.
It's like you went back in a time capsule, like 15 years.
Right.
When was the last time? You're currently at about 150 pounds.
Yeah.
It's just under 70% less fat than when we met. When was the last time you were 150 pounds?
Yeah, it's got to be freshman year in college, and probably pretty early in that freshman year.
Right.
And then from there, I would say I probably got up to 160, 165 when I graduated college. Mm-hmm. And then from there, just kind of fluctuated back and forth between, like you said, upper or low 200s at my high, floating between 180 and 190 for a long time of my adult life.
It's incredible. Congratulations
Thank you.
to you. It's just been inspiring to watch. And I say that with all sincerity.
Yeah.
Let's turn the conversation, if you would. Could we talk a little bit about the pain that you felt prior to starting the program? I'm not talking about physical pain. I'm talking more about the psychological and the emotional pain you felt associated with your weight, your health, and this struggle.
Yeah, no, I think the biggest pain point for me was just typically frustration that my body just didn't seem to respond to different things that I had tried to lose weight. And I've always been a pretty fit or active person. I've run a ton of marathons. Probably for the last 15 years, I've run a marathon or two a year. So I was always exercising. I was always out being active. I did other high intensity training, but just could never lose weight. And every once in a while, I try a weight loss idea, and I'd maybe lose weight for a couple weeks, and then it'd come right back on. But the idea that it would stay off just never worked. And then when I looked around, I would see myself amongst friends and peers where I just felt like I was doing great in most areas of my life, but this one I felt like I was the one guy that was not in shape, or it just didn't fit for what I was trying to do.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. You know, I don't take this lightly. It's a sensitive subject,
Yeah.
and you've succeeded in so many ways. And as you've alluded to, this one area of your life represented a failure that was like every morning you would wake up and it'd be like staring you in the face.
Yeah.
You know, what am I doing wrong?
Yeah, and it was even more so than just the mirror. I mean, you could just tell the body didn't feel right. I always felt bloated. I went to bed achy. I woke up achy. Never felt like I could get a good night's sleep. You just could tell that there was more fat on my body than was supposed to be there. And I just couldn't figure out the right way to get it off.
Wow. And then you heard about me. How did you hear about me?
So I had a friend that I ran into in probably January and saw him for the first time in a handful of months and just immediately recognized significant change in his appearance.
Who is this person?
This is Brad Clousing.
Brad Clousing,
yeah.
one of our star pupils. Brad also lost about 70% of his body fat. And how did you respond when you saw him?
Yeah, well, I was kind of shocked and essentially said, well, what did you do? You got to tell me what you did. And he gave me your information and said you should reach out. And luckily I did. And we had an assessment and realized that this was the perfect opportunity for me to achieve the goal that I was looking to achieve.
That's incredible. That is so cool. It's like, Brad's story is truly inspiring.
Yeah.
And now you're living exactly the same situation that Brad is. And it's not been that long. We talked, it's been 7 months.
Yeah.
Since we started this process. Truly amazing.
Right.
So thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. Since we're on the subject, how is life differently for you now? I mean, you're down 70% in body fat from the first day we met, 51 pounds. How is life different for you now?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest difference is I had to buy new clothes, and the ones that I did have or do have still fit a lot better. So that's a big change. But everything else just has become a lot easier, and so the ability to sleep is easier. The amount of energy I have is easier. Just understanding how and what I should be eating is easier. How should I be exercising? What should I be doing? All of those things in my life are easier. I don't have to guess. I don't have to wonder if this is going to work or this isn't going to work. I don't feel like I need to push myself harder because if I just stick to the plan, then everything works the way it's supposed to work.
Amazing. So thank you for that. Can we talk a little bit about the main learning points of your experience?
Yeah.
When we first met, I explained to you, you actually had a problem inside of your fat cells. It was an enzyme suppression within your fat cells. The enzyme is called hormone-sensitive lipase, and that enzyme was in suppression. What we know, audience, is that when the fat cells are in suppression, the storage fat inside the fat cells can't be broken, and therefore the fatty acids can't be released. So the question is, can any substantial fat loss occur when you're in suppression? And the answer, of course, is no.
Right.
And I told you something ridiculous. I said it was only going to take me how long to reverse the enzyme suppression in all your fat cells?
Yeah, just 3 days.
3 days. You came back within less than a week. What did we see?
That I was already starting to lose weight. The suppression had stopped, and we were back kind of in control.
Exactly. We reversed the enzyme suppression, so that means that the mechanism that controlled your fat cells was only allowing for the degradation, the breaking of the storage fat called triglyceride, and the subsequent mobilization of fatty acids. And what we saw from then was a mathematically linear fat loss. Fat cells were getting smaller every hour, every day, every week, and every month. And in a 7-month experience, from your all-time highest body fat, which was 85 pounds, you're at 23 pounds. That's a 62-pound fat loss from the all-time high. That's a 73% reduction. It's amazing, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So how did we get there? Well, I started to teach you about nutrition, but really talked about chemistry, things that you couldn't smell, taste, or detect in everything you were ingesting, your foods, your fluids, the pills, the tablets, the capsules, the powders, the shakes, the drinks, the mouthwash. And how did that affect the implementation of the program? Was there any ambiguity in this process?
No, it's been crystal clear. And I think what you've always said from very early on is if you just stick to the plan, it's going to work.
Right.
And the reality is that couldn't be, I mean, it's as true as it can be said. There wasn't even, it wasn't even difficult. It was just very educational. These are the things that you can eat.
Right.
These are the things you can ingest.
Right.
And if you just stick to those things, then it works. And,
Right.
I mean, it doesn't get any more simple than that.
Right. I'm so glad to hear you say that, because that's our goal, is to give people a level of specificity and direction that's not burdensome. So since you brought it up, nutrition isn't just, protein, fat, and carbohydrate. We have a chef on our team named Alex Kratville. What's it been like having a chef support you? And tell us about that part of your experience.
Yeah, it's been awesome. I mean, having the ability to order food that tastes amazing, that we know is in plan,
Right.
And have it in our fridge ready to go whenever we need to is fantastic.
Yeah.
And I would say very early on we were super, super heavy just doing that. But as we progressed in the timing of working together, we started to learn, here's different things that we can make,
Right.
and here's different things that work for us. And so now we still love having meals provided because it just allows us to have those to grab and take to lunch, or to
Right.
have a meal when we know we're being rushed, or when we have to feed our kids fast food, then we can eat one of our meals.
Right.
But it's been a really great process, and food has been amazing, and it's fun to enjoy it.
What's your favorite recipe, by the way?
Oh man, there's so many. The chicken enchiladas are fantastic. I just had the pizza for lunch today. I mean, with the cauliflower crust.
Right.
And you really feel like you're not giving up anything with regards to taste or quality to eat food that's 100% on plan.
That's so cool. I love that. Let's talk about what's it been like working with a doctor, somebody that's holding you accountable every day. We come in, you have sessions with us here in the lab. The chef provides food, but we have these very personal conversations. You're getting a text message every day. What's it been like having a doctor encourage and hold you accountable?
Yeah, it's been fantastic. It really does keep this journey on the front of your mind, and understanding that it does require some daily decisions in order to be successful.
Yeah.
Now, the reality is that you don't have to make every single decision perfect for the rest of your life to be successful. But even if you do make a poor decision with a meal or something off plan, knowing that the next day you get a text message, it just reminds you, okay, just get right back on plan and things work. I mean, if you look at me and we've seen this level of success, I could illustrate multiple times where I didn't stick to plan, but it's been the accountability that's helped me get back on plan and know that the journey is going to have some good days and some bad days, but if you stick to it, then it's going to work out really well.
100%. Now, you're a lifelong exerciser. You've run multiple marathons all over the world.
Yeah.
We placed you in our human performance laboratory on the very first day. We studied how your muscles responded metabolically to different precise changes in exercise exertion. And we learned how the muscles utilized fat very efficiently. How did that open your eyes to exercise and metabolism in a way that you hadn't before?
Yeah, I mean, it was a huge kind of revelation with regards to how my body was reacting to the exercise that I was doing. And what we determined, which now makes a lot of sense, is I was just working my body too hard and not burning fat cells the right way.
Right.
And because of that, I would finish a workout and just be ready to devour whatever I could get in front of me, whether that was donuts or pancakes or waffles or whatever. I just would eat anything I wanted to, with the idea that, well, I just burned it all off, so it's net neutral. But the reality was it was not net neutral. And so being able to exercise and understanding that I can more efficiently burn my fat cells and be done exercising and have zero cravings has been kind of an amazing revelation to how this is all working.
Absolutely. So just to reiterate back to you, we measured muscle metabolism, isolating how the muscles were able to utilize fat specifically, sparing glycogen, and because you weren't using up the sugar like you had in the past, now you don't crave what?
I don't crave anything. I mean, no sugars, no carbs, nothing. I don't feel this desire to overeat with the idea that I just worked out, because I honestly don't even feel like I worked out.
Right.
And if I wasn't losing weight, I would basically say this isn't working because you don't feel like it's pushing you physically.
Right.
I mean, it's an easy process, but then you see the results on the scale and everywhere else, and you realize that it's absolutely what we need to be doing.
And I think our audience will really appreciate that it's not hard.
Yeah.
It's not burdensome.
It's not long, it's not burdensome, it's not hard. It can be folded into a normal schedule. It's a very simple way to exercise. And for somebody like myself who did run a lot, part of me was like, man, I might miss that running, but I do not at all. And so this has been a great way to change the way I exercise and see the type of success that you told me I would have.
Incredible. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Really appreciate it. So just to summarize one more time, in 7 months, you lost over 51 pounds of fat. 51 pounds represented just under 70% of your body fat. You gained almost 9 pounds of muscle. Truly an inspiring story. I want us to be mindful of our audience.
Yeah.
There's a man or a woman out there right now. They're hearing about the Plourdé method for the first time. They're hearing your incredible story, and they're exactly where you were 7 months ago. What would you say to him or her to encourage them to take the first step and call?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first thing I would say is that this absolutely works. There's no doubt about it. I will be honest and say that I had some skepticism.
Sure.
And if I hadn't seen a friend go through it and what it did to his body, I would have never have thought that anything that you told me would work. But it does. And so for anybody that's considering it or thinking about it or realizing that they aren't happy with the way that they feel, they're not happy with the way that they look, they know that they need to do something different, just take the first step. Have an opportunity to do an assessment with you, learn about what this takes, learn about what the process is going to look like for you, and just know that it works and it's not hard. I think that's the two things that you told me day one was basically, this is going to work exactly like I told you it's going to work, and it's not going to be hard. And I remember thinking, like, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about, because there's no way if you're telling me what's going to happen is going to happen, then it has to be hard. But the reality is it hasn't been hard, and it's happened exactly the way that you told me it would work. So
thank you.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I really appreciate just how articulately you shared that. So.
Yeah.
And I'd like to thank you, our audience, for taking time out of your busy schedule to watch this conversation. I hope you found it to be very encouraging. And I'll leave you with this. You don't have to struggle anymore. Take the first step and call 844-756-8733. Our intake department is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Or you can click on the website on the Get Started page. Either way, we'll be back in touch with you within 24 hours. Thanks so much for listening. Take care.